That 220 amp alternator is great for powering everything we need on our venture, but it's kind of useless. So that's why today we'll be doing the Big 3 upgrade on my Subaru Forester to harness all the power from our upgraded alternator. And with our 220 amp alternator that we put in our Forester a few weeks ago, our Forester can power whatever it needs to, including our Blue Eddy Charger 2, which can pull up to 800 watts. Unfortunately, while our alternator is upgraded, there's a lot of other things in between the chain that causes some issues. And this includes the wiring from our alternator to our battery, as well as the grounding for our battery to the chassis and the chassis to the engine block. And that's why today we'll be upgrading all three to ensure that we can actually use the 220 amps provided by our alternator. And while this might seem like a modification that you can leave till later on, it's something you should probably do sooner than later. Especially as you add more stuff to your vehicle, such as fridge, freezers, diesel heaters, chargers, power banks, and everything else, you start using a lot more power than the stock wiring can provide. And that can lead to some, well, unwanted consequences, including what I've had done personally, car die out on the trail with no service for miles. Good thing I brought my booster pack and was able to boost it and will drive out of there without any more detours. But it goes to highlight, sometimes doing it right the first time is the best way to tackle it. And with that said, let's go see what exactly we need. And you don't need a lot to do this modification. You might need to grab a few other tools, but other than that, everything should be easily accessible. Starting off, you're gonna need some thicker gauge wire. It will depend on how many amps your alternator is, but for my 220 amp, we're using 1-0 gauge wire. It's essentially welding wire, and well, it is quite thick. Other than that, you obviously need some stuff to, well, connect that to the car. And that includes some terminals. And this is where I said you might need to grab some new stuff. Essentially, a hammer crimper is what I'm using to, well, put these chunky lugs on this huge wire. So you probably will need that unless you have a hydraulic crimper available. And then to make this a lot easier, I will also be upgrading the terminals on my batteries for ones with a couple different adapters or connections here, so we can go ahead and plug in everything and well connect our wires without making a huge mess. And then on top of that, you're going to need a fuse. Rate your fuse to around your alternator and wires. So we're doing a 250 amp fuse here, and this will go in line with the positive to the battery. And then other than that, you're just going to need your basic tools like your hair dryer or heat gun, something to cut wire, basic socket set, something that will remove the sheathing. I'm just using a box knife, zip ties, and probably some dielectric grease. And that's all you need to upgrade the wiring on the alternator. So let's get to it. Now, first things first, anytime you're doing anything electrical with your car, you're going to want to go ahead and, well, disconnect the battery. So for me, I've got quite a few things going on here, so it's going to take me a minute to go ahead and disconnect this all. But we can go ahead, disconnect our battery. You can start on the negative, go ahead and work your way on the positive. And then on this time, we're actually going to be removing the terminal connectors on the battery as well. And with our battery safely disconnected, we can start on the fun part, running these heavy gauge wires to our battery. The run itself is quite short. Like we're going from here and then kind of probably following the same kind of route as the original harness and then just out to here. So we have a pretty short run, but we're also going to have to go ahead and put a fuse in here. We're going to put it closer to the battery because that's where you're going to want to put your fuse anyways. And we're going to put it right about here before it connects to the terminal. So let's go ahead and we'll prep this side where we're going to cut off this sheathing here and get one of those eyelets on here so we can figure out how to connect it to our alternator. And now with the new wire and its connection here, we can go about planning a route and figuring out where we're going to cut this. So as I said, we'll just go ahead, we'll stick it onto the factory kind of alternator here area, and then actually we'll feed it under. We're going to follow the same path as they did with the factory wire. And I'm actually going to use some of the same hooks here that they're using, and we'll tuck it in as neatly as possible. So kind of like that. And then we need to figure out our fuse. And it looks like our fuse can go we could probably zip tie it to the AC wire or the throttle connection here and put the fuse right in this area right here. And then that will leave us another tiny little kind of connection that we can go ahead and connect to the battery. So now we'll mark these off, go ahead, cut, make more of these connections, and we'll combine this all to make it one nice positive connection. Before I go ahead and we'll run my cable from here to the battery, I do want to go ahead and install this and see how we're looking like for our runs, so we know how much distance we have on this last little cable there. But this is essentially what we're looking at, is our short cable to the fuse, and then the fuse runs to the battery. And that's kind of how we're getting started here. But we do need to measure this length here before we go ahead and finish up. And there is one challenge. So we do have this stud here, and this is the right lug. But I don't really want to I want to put this as the main cable bringing power to the battery, and I want to put this on the bottom here. Unfortunately, this will not allow something as big as this to fit in. So I'm going to trim this little bit of plastic, just a tiny bit here, so that we can fit this in here and then put our factory one on top of that. And with a little bit of dremeling, we can go ahead, slide this in here, and put that all the way down onto the alternator. Take our factory, mount that guy on here, and then tighten it all down. And now with our wire tucked in here, and well, you can see our fuse, we can go ahead and figure out the battery side. So we're gonna work now from this side. So this is the terminal. As you can see, this is where we're gonna be running the power for the alternator, because it's got the right size. And then we can run all of our accessories off of one of these studs. We can even put a post on here. That means that when we put this on here, we got a short line to run from here to here. I'm just trying to decide whether I think it'll be best at a 45-degree angle. So we just got to make another short little positive lead from here to here, and just put a ring connector on this side, and then jam it up into here and tighten it down. And check that out. We have essentially our connection, our battery terminal with all the cool little points for mounting stuff up, and our connection to the fuse now. So once we plug this in and connect it, we've essentially got our whole positive line done on here. That means that we still have one other side to do. You can't just do the positive. Your car is not going to like it. And we have a couple things to do with the ground on here, because we have to connect it to the chassis as well. So we have a few more things than just doing this. Thankfully, we don't need to put a fuse in that one, so it will hopefully be a little quicker. So let's go toss this in and then start measuring our ground, and I'll show you where we will put our ground and eventually get that hooked up as well. And for grounding the car, you can see here's our ground wire, but you probably don't know where it's running. There is a ground on the transmission tunnel right here, or the transmission itself, and it runs along here back, and it actually runs to right here, and then this connects to the body. So essentially we want to ground it here and here. What that means is we're running this in parallel with this one. So these two are going to be together. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and replace this chassis grounding wire and clean up here, because, well, trying to run another wire with this little guy is kind of useless. So we're going to go ahead and use this bigger one and ground it from here to here with a tiny little wire. But we'll figure that out here once we get our main run done. Of course, it's the same thing. Once we measure it, we're going to go ahead, cut it, put a connection on that end, put our battery terminal connection on this end. And with our nice grounding cable, terminal on this side, ring on this side, we can almost go plug it in. So the issue is this ground. And what's going on here is this is grounding, well, the battery to the chassis and the chassis to the engine, because the engine's on rubber mounts, right? So there's no other grounding. Supposedly there's like a wire weave kind of thing sitting in here. I think mine is long since corroded away. Let me know if you had yours on your car, but mine's completely gone. Like, it doesn't exist. So we need a way to ground everything to, well, the chassis as well. So we have a couple different options. What I think I'm going to do is, because we have some slack here, is I'm going to cut this guy off, this OEM like battery clamp thing, because it's not doing us any favors. It's dirty. The connection's probably corroded. And then we're going to go ahead and, well, connect the OEM line with tracing with this one onto this second port here. And then on this side, we'll figure out how to connect, well, the chassis to this. And with our very short battery to chassis connector, we can go ahead and connect this. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a little bit of a wire wheel and clean up where this makes contact so that we have a really good grounding point. And then when I put it on, I'm going to actually put some dielectric grease on there so it doesn't rust, and then mount this to the battery where we will officially have this all completed. And after hooking up all the accessories to the nice new terminals, we have a clean cable run for our high-powered alternator, meaning we can actually go ahead and we'll use that 220 amps. For a typical vehicle, that is way too much, so much overkill. But for our Forester with the fridge, the Starlink, and, well, our Charger 2 pulling 800 watts from the battery, it's a good upgrade. I can't wait to put it to use later this summer, where we go on some longer adventures here and we'll explore some amazing places. It's really hard to show you the results of this right now here in the garage, so you're just gonna have to trust me that this is gonna be a huge upgrade for those adventures, and, well, you're just gonna have to subscribe so you don't miss any of it. And while you're down there, let me know down below if you've ever done this modification. I feel like this is more of a like car audio thing, not so much an overlanding thing. But if you are in that overlanding build, definitely check it out when you're doing your high-powered alternator. Doesn't take too long, only about 3 hours, and you're good to go. And don't forget to go ahead and check out, well, Flat for Off-Road for all your adventure Subaru needs here in Canada, as well as the channel memberships for some exclusive perks and, well, behind-the-scenes content. And I'll be seeing all of you on the next adventure.